Hi, it's Kim McGrath from Expressions of the Universe on a rainy Saturday. So I figured that maybe I would play around with some astrology that may entertain you, hot topics in the news. And I just want to put out my disclaimer once again, even though it showed on the screen. This video is for entertainment and folly. It's using the theories and philosophies of medieval medical astrologers, but by no means does that indicate any prognosis for Kate Middleton, who I'm doing the video for, or any of you. Always seek professional medical advice. Just entertainment and folly on this rainy Saturday afternoon. So in January, Kate Middleton went into hospital for abdominal surgery. And it prompted me as an astrologer to want to look at her chart to see what could possibly be going on. And as many of you know, I also facilitate a master astrology class every Wednesday evening where a group of us master astrologers get together and we look at different charts for countries, public figures, big items and issues in the news around the world. So I presented this to the class and wanted their feedback. And we have been diligently discussing this nearly every week since. We've had a lot of hits so far because now we are 2 months from the surgery and more has been recently revealed. I tried to do a test where I could share my screen and play back the recorded video and audio, but it's not working. Something with Zoom when you're sharing it, or maybe it's my laptop, I don't know. It won't allow you to record other recordings, which is unfortunate because then you would have had the commentary from the entire class. That was my idea. However, that's not going to happen because my test was not successful. I'm going to share my screen. And here we have Kate Middleton's natal chart. Now, this is showing as a Rodham reading of AA, which is typically from a birth certificate. However, it has been said now that the time of her birth here, as recorded, could be a reading of a C, which, you know, AA is the best, then A, B, and then, of course, C. However, in our discussions, it really seems as though she is a Leo rising. Think about that long mane of hair that she has. She's very well known for her beautiful hair. So that seems to be the case. Although with stomach issues, then that could lead me to believe maybe a Virgo rising, because Virgo rules the intestines, the digestive tract, the pancreas, etc. Now, ancient astrologers, I'm not saying ancient, medieval, Victorian, Regency era medical astrologers, they look to Jupiter as the planet for the liver, but also digestive issues. Jupiter being ruled by Sagittarius, and also Pisces was primitively ruled, was the ruling planet. So as a medical astrologer myself, what would I be looking at in Kate's natal chart? So the first thing I look at is, where is the seat of chronic illness? That would be Saturn. Saturn in Libra. So that could indicate to me hormonal issues, kidney issues. It's third house. So that could be hormonal with the breast as well, but kidneys, adrenal. She also has Mars as the seat of acute illness in Libra as well, but that is in the second house. And it also depends on which house system one is using. Typically for medical astrology, it's either whole sign or equal. I choose equal sign. So there could be kidney, hormonal, adrenal issues, inflammation, also restriction in that area. The ascendant in Leo could indicate heart and back, upper back issues, some point in her life. The moon is another indicator. So the moon is in Cancer. That could be breast and stomach. And she was also born on an eclipse, as was William. Interesting. The royal family has a lot of energy around eclipses. Prince Charles' coronation most recently was on an eclipse, which I thought was not very smart, but and now we're seeing him with issues. Uh, the sun, which is her vital life force, is in Capricorn and it is below the horizon. See how she has so many of her planets below the horizon? Also, being born in the winter, this could indicate severe depression, also some anxiety. In the fifth house, which would be where her creativity and her passion, her children are also in that house. Um, Typically ruled by Leo, putting her in the limelight, but with it being in below the horizon, would keep her more introverted and at home with the children, not wanting to be in the limelight. Also, the sun in Capricorn lends to someone who is very studious and serious. Um, and also tenacious, will see things through, see things out to a fault. So those are the big areas. Also, I look to the nodes, the North Node, South Node, North Node in Cancer, which is conjuncting the moon. So, like I said, breast, stomach issues, hormonal issues, as the Cancer Libra find square each other. And then South Node in Capricorn in the sixth house of health overall. Could that be the nervous tension that I pick up that could lend to the stomach issue? This could be arthritis. This could also be issues in calcium absorption or minerals and vitamins, the inability to absorb those nutrients could be seen here. What else are we seeing? For her mental capabilities, because I've mentioned the possibility of some severe depression, Mercury and Venus in Aquarius could also in the sixth house indicate some instability with her mental faculties, especially as they are just about opposing that moon and north node. So there could be some issues there. Also, let's take a look at Chiron, the wounded healer. Past life wounds in Taurus, which could lend to riches, land, real estate, in Taurus, right on the cusp of her 10th house. And it's a far orb, but nearly conjunct her midheaven, which is maybe wounds of being out in the public, being in the public face that she would have to face in this life, and overcome those issues. Also, too, let's take a look at Hygeia. The planet of health is in Leo at 4 degrees. Quite a far separation from the ascendant. It is in the 12th house. That gives me a good indication that she could at some time have heart issues. So if she is not absorbing the nutrients, she has been looking very thin and frail lately. So if she's having stomach issues, she's not eating well, not getting the nutrients that she needs, that could directly affect her heart in the future. All right, so here is her chart at her solar return. So her birthday is January 9th. Well, yes, January 9th. So the solar return was January 9th, 2024 at 11:43 p.m. UK time. And when we are setting up as an astrologer a solar return chart, we are aligning the sun back to the same exact place, degree and minute as when she was born. And then we take a look and see, well, what house is that placed in? Where are the other planets? So if you look, let me go back. Her natal sun at 19 degrees 12 minutes in the 5th house of Capricorn. Her solar return this year, it's showing up in the 4th house of home, heart, the mother, the father, the parent, and it is conjunct the IC. So this would say to me, her vital life force very much being kept in the home, around the children, around parental figures. She and William being parental figures. What worries me is the close proximity of Pluto in Capricorn. It is within a 10-degree orb, so technically it is conjunct, but not right at this moment. Somewhere down the road, Pluto, the planet of death, transformation, rebirth, could play a role, but not right away. We also take a look at where are the majority of her planets. The 3rd house of siblings, her neighborhood. Mercury is here. This would be communications, hearing of news. So on January 9th, had I done the solar return chart at that time, I would probably think that we would be hearing some sort of news about her. Now, interestingly enough, we look at the midheaven, what's happening in her outer world. Midheaven is in Cancer at 14 degrees. So that is directly opposing her her solar return sun. And so that could be some sort of an announcement regarding her and her issues. Now, although Scorpio is most related to, say, reproductive organs, there is some tie-in with Cancer, with the breast and the stomach and in that area. When I did this chart, I came up with, I just took a couple of notes, and I'm going to start taking better notes going forward in the Wednesday night master astrology classes, so that I can go back in my notes and mark these charts up and do more of these videos. But I picked up, looking at this solar return chart, my eye directly went to, wanted to see what was happening in Scorpio. So if you think about the royal family, they're very private. They don't really talk about delicate topics such as reproductive organs and such. or their births and their pregnancies. So you really don't hear much about this. And I just kept picking up intuitively that I think that this is female reproductive organ related somehow. And that's where I think I might have been sparked off by this, but I immediately went to see, well, what's happening in Scorpio. If I look back at her natal chart, Scorpio is right on cusp of her fourth house natally. All right, so back to my notes indicated surgeries, hysterectomy, hernia, gastric sleeve, infection, like a secondary infection, lymph nodes. Take a look at I'm sorry, Neptune in the sixth house at 25 degrees. And this really shined when we took a look at her chart this past Wednesday night, this 25 degree of Neptune. It happens to be currently squaring her solar arc, Neptune at 25 degrees. The lymph nodes are indicated with this Neptune in the sixth house. There's a lot of fluid. Neptune in Pisces in the sixth house is also indicative of infection, cancer. So she went in for abdominal surgery, right? And that was all that was said for over 2 months. And now there's a cancer diagnosis. I had written this down 2 months ago. Reproductive organs, stomach, addiction, behavioral treatment, bulimia, anorexia, esophagus. So where did I see this? So the throat could be this Uranus, Jupiter in the eighth house. Now remember, traditionally, Virgo rules the stomach area, which is all the way over here, but that is on the cusp of her 12th house of hospitalization. However, the Regency and Victorian medical astrologers believed that Jupiter was the ruler of that area. So that could play true in the eighth house of death. Surgeries are here in the eighth house as well. And with Uranus here, it's a shock, it's a surprise, it's something that was unexpected. With Chiron conjunct the descendant and the North Node, and Eris, Mars's sister, bitter sister, I feel that wherever this originated from, it's from Kate not speaking her voice. That's maybe what I was picking up with the throat and pushing it down. So when we have stomach issues, Louise Hay always said it was because we couldn't stomach something. We just couldn't tolerate. So, living a royal life is extremely difficult. You don't get the luxury of doing whatever you wish, whenever you wish, thinking or speaking what you wish. You're told what to do, you're told what to think, you have to act and behave in a certain way. People think that being royal is all about the riches and the castles and the homes and the clothing. And yeah, those things are nice, but they are things. And being a royal is an obligation. And it's not often a pleasant one. Look what happened to Princess Diana. So let's see. I wrote here Pluto transit. Here news September 2nd through November, change in status. This Pluto transiting the fourth house. Interesting because we brought that up last Wednesday, looking at William's chart, Kate's chart, their marriage chart, the solar arc chart, that there is some sort of tension, disruption in the marriage. And then we're questioning it because my first thought was, does she do something harmful to herself? And then the more that I thought about it is, could this be an indication of her death? Could that be 10 months from now? So 10 months from, say, January, which would be October, November, right? Um, and Pluto will retrograde back into Capricorn at that time. And that's why I have these dates indicated. So be on the lookout for that if this takes a turn for the worse. All right, having second surgery, Uranus retrograde, South Node retrograde. Where do Jupiter Uranus conjunct at 21 degrees, April 17th, Pisces ruling the 6th. I guess, when I write notes, they make sense to me at the time, but right now, I don't know why, but the Jupiter Uranus conjunct on April 17th in the eighth house is surgeries, and Uranus being retrograde South Node retrograde. There is an inconjunct there. So that could indicate a second surgery. And I think one of the members of the Master Astrology group had pointed that out. And then I wrote back in the public April 3rd through May 1st with Vesta up here in the ninth. And I believe that was Vesta reaching the midheaven would come in around April 3rd to May 1st. All right, let's move on to the next chart. So I had thrown in Kate and Will's wedding chart. We were looking at this on Wednesday night, especially third house. When they got married, Saturn was conjunct the IC of the home, the mother of the family, in the third house of announcements. Saturn is an obligation, though, being obligated and tied to the family. And those are hard obligations when we see that. I'm going to move past this. That could maybe be for another day, another topic of discussion. So back in January, when we originally looked at this chart as a class, one of the participants indicated with Uranus coming right up to the cusp of the 10th house with the ascendant that something big would happen. And we verified on 313 that there was controversy in the media with Kate. And that's when all the controversy came out from Mom's Day, the picture that was posted, and it looked like it had been altered and doctored. And then speculations really started rolling around as to what is going on with her. Why was this photo altered? And so that was a direct hit. I wish we had taken more notes, and I would have shared the audio at this point so that you could hear all of the commentary from the class when we did the dissection of this solar arc chart. Let's see. And this was erected for the date of her surgery, which was January 16th. And trying to see. So if we take a look at this eighth house, the eighth house of surgery, the eighth house of death, possibly, we have Neptune, the moon, Chiron, the north node transiting. When I talked about this Neptune, which shows up in her sixth house of health in her solar return chart, 25 degrees, it's squaring her natal Neptune at 25 degrees of Sagittarius. Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter. So, and then Pisces ruling the lymph nodes. So this could be an infection or a cancer. This could be of the liver. This could be the pancreas. Now, the colon or reproductive organs, that's where I would see Scorpio coming into play. Scorpio typically rules the eighth house, but with Neptune transiting the eighth house, squaring this, that could also be indicative of the reproductive organs. We will also take a look at the correlations, Pluto conjuncting Uranus in this fourth house of home and family, having to convalesce at home, having to be and stay at home. She also has her Mars, Pallas, Saturn, the IC, all within the home. This is many years of being in the home, not just, for this quick time being. Trying to think, what else could I say about that? So, trying, trying to see what else I saw. Solar arc, Neptune showing up in the sixth house of health, and it is conjunct her natal Mercury and Venus. Now, Venus is also fluids. Mercury it could be her mind, but it could also be announcements that are made on her health, on her behalf. I would be um, very cautious to see when Pluto in the coming years is going to be conjuncting these two spots. Won't be for several years, but I feel like she does have a couple of very difficult years ahead of her. Also, let's see, Pluto, her midheaven is at 5. So, you know, even when Pluto reaches 5 degrees of Aquarius, it will still be within this sixth house. It will square her midheaven. We could very possibly lose her at that point in time. And that could be not 2025, maybe 2026-ish. It's not too far off. I would say, probably a year's time or so. This could be something that moves very quickly. It's very hard to tell because the royal family is so very secretive. Another thing indicating the stomach issue is that her solar arc moon has just entered Virgo. So since last year. So it's about a year and a few months into the sign of Virgo, also indicating that there could be some stomach issues that arise. She has 29 years left of that transit. So where would it be hitting? Within 2 years' time, it would be squaring her Uranus in the third house. So here's another indication that in about 2 to 3 years' time, even with this Pluto, that something detrimental could be happening with her. I'm going to have to remember that and point that out to the class. And in about 4 years' time, it will be trining her midheaven. So she has a lot ahead of her. And it really just doesn't look good as far as how this will progress. And I think what worries me the most is that Neptune, how it's showing up here in the eighth house of surgeries, of death, of illness, as well as in Pisces hospitalization. Trying to see if there's anything that maybe I may have missed. Oh, okay. So here we go. Her solar arc sun is at 1 degree of Pisces in the seventh house, which is making an opposition to her moon in Virgo. So that is also very tough. The sun indicating vital life force, and the moon indicating her emotional body. But these are the lights in her chart, the light and the life force. And they are at opposing ends of each other. However, now I came to the realization she was born on an eclipse and on a full moon. So her solar arc, sun and moon will always be opposing each other. As you can see in this first wheel, here's the sun at 19, her moon was at 18. So they will always be in opposition of each other. But that could be very hard. People that are born on a full moon having health issues, depending on, where it shows up in your chart. Now, Jupiter, the planet of surprises, also of the possible illness indicator, has just crossed her midheaven. So Jupiter at the time of this surgery is at 6 degrees of Taurus. Her midheaven is at 5 degrees, 17 minutes. So I would say she probably found out about these issues possibly 6 to 9 months ago, looking at the degree difference. And it may have been giving her more problems, more and more problems until he had to go in and have the surgery. Now, I know a few people have speculated, some advocates that I know for pancreatic cancer have indicated that she may have been given what is called the Whipple, which is the removal of the pancreas or a portion of the pancreas, which takes a significant amount of time to heal. And if there is cancer there, then she would probably need chemotherapy. And that is a very fast moving, relentless or unrelenting type of cancer. Um, there's been just so many people that I know that have had that and have passed from that. It doesn't discriminate with age. I know somebody that I grew up with from elementary school. She passed at age 43 from that. I know a lot of people's parents or spouses that have passed from that in their 50s, 60s. So it's something that happens to young people. I believe she is 42 years old, 41, 42 years old. So that could make sense there. Also, too, just to point out that we do have an opposition of this Jupiter to her third house planets, Saturn, Pluto, there. And not quite, there's an inconjunct to Uranus. So there's an indifference. I think possibly they could have been arguing over the diagnosis, what to do. And that's why there may have been a 9-month time lapse as to what type of treatment to get, when to have the surgery. So I would think that that could have been an argumentative time, an inflamed time. It's pretty scary. Let's see. Also, too, transiting, we have Venus which sometimes lends to infection and fluids in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, the liver, stomach area. And that was conjuncting her natal Jupiter in Sagittarius. That natal Jupiter in Sagittarius is often indicative of somebody that does have liver issues, that could possibly have a drinking problem or toxicity to over the counter medicines or even prescription medicines that affect the liver in some way, shape, or form. So the prognosis here, I feel I'm going to have to look and see when does Pluto reach 5, 6 degrees of Aquarius, because that I think will definitely give me some timing. I can look that, and then we have Williams' chart, which we can look at another time. Let me look up real quick to see on an ephemeris, February 24th. Go to 27. You can look and see. I'll share my screen with you while I'm doing this, so you're not just staring at my face. So this is my software program for astrology, and I'm going to take a look and see what's happening with Pluto. Here we have Pluto currently at 1 degree of Aquarius, but that will retrograde back into Capricorn. I'm looking to see when does it get to 5 or 6 degrees of Aquarius. And I think in any type of orb that's close to it. So here we have 3 degrees. That's March of 2025. So about a year away. When it goes stationary and goes into 1 degree of Aquarius, that should be an indication. So right around the end of this year, in December of 2024, be on the lookout for some sort of an announcement or change in her status. And now Pluto doesn't always indicate death. It could be a transformation. It could be the healing, especially in the sixth house. Every aspect has two sides. There's always two sides to every coin. We have to remember that. All right, so it hits 5 degrees, March 21st of 2026. So almost exactly 1 year from now, from this recording, as I'm recording this on March 23rd of 2024. And it will hit that 6 degrees. Well, it's going to go retrograde May 7th of 2026. So it never fully hits the 6 degrees of Aquarius. So for one full year, she's really going through it. And then it goes retrograde. So it's possible that, there's some sort of a revelation there. So 1 year from now, March of 2025, something happening. And then over the course of the next year, so that would be 2 years, I would be really mindful to keep an eye on Kate. And we will continue to, in the class, to do these discussions. And I set up my Zoom to do transcripts. So I will have the notes so that I don't have to go back and watch 2, 3 hours worth of video and take the notes. But that's what I'm going to be doing so that I could set up for the next week. Because there were so many of us saying so many different things that we were seeing in her chart. But yeah, this is going to be my prediction that I think that um, this doesn't look so good for her. And if, the way that she was speaking in her video about having to tell the children and, sitting them down and needing the time with them before she made an announcement publicly, um, I'm thinking if this was nothing, then it wouldn't have been such a big deal. And you have to remember, royal family keeps everything very secretive. I also feel that this is something that could be spreading if it hasn't already. She says that the chemotherapy is for preventative. I'm not so sure about that. But that also could be the Neptune at 25, because Neptune is poisons. And if you think about chemotherapy is actually a poison that is run through the body to kill the cancer cells, but it kills, a lot of things within the body. Also, too, let's pay attention to her hair. With her being a possible Leo rising, there's a very good chance that she may lose that gorgeous mane that she's so well known for. That would be very indicative of a result of chemotherapy on someone who is a Leo rising. So when I see somebody with the hair, think about, if you know me, if you've watched my videos, I have a Leo moon and I'm always futzing with my hair, right? Um, it's very much about the hair, but what a lot of people don't even realize is that a lot of Leos are bald. And so they don't have that mane, but it becomes a stigma or a wound within them being a Leo or Leo rising or even a Leo moon to be bald, or things having to do with the head. So it's interesting. Um, yeah, just some little fun facts for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned. I would love to do some more of these and take from, the classes that I'm doing on Wednesday nights and then present some of these charts to you. If there's somebody in the public eye that you would like me to review their chart, shoot me a message, either DM me on Instagram or Expressions of the Universe Facebook, or send me an email to expressions of the universe 8183 at gmail.com. You can find all my contact info right online. And yeah, let me know who you want me to review and hear about. We did really pretty wonderful Tracy Chapman video last year, about her resurgence with the song Fast Car. And it's right in her chart. It's really just fascinating. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, bye.